Now, it's not long now till UFC Fight Night Dublin, and we're both going to be there in your commentary role, obviously. Exciting card. What are you looking forward to?
There are a lot of fights. The Pickett-McCall fight is going to be amazing. Neither of those guys like to take a backward step. They're both very dynamic. Obviously, Brad's got much more of a traditional boxing style, whereas Ian McCall's very unorthodox, and that's going to make it a very interesting contest because either guy could take it. It really depends on who lands the quality shots earlier on in the fight and if they can keep it up. We've got a lot of good fights on the card. Lower down on the card, there's Nikita Krylov. He's fighting Cody Donovan. That's going to be a real tough fight for both guys. They're both, they need this win to stay relevant in the division. So that's going to be an exciting one for me. And then obviously the main event, Conor McGregor. I mean, he's got star power. You can see it as soon as you meet the guy. So I just don't know what he's going to come out with. I know he's going to be training really hard to be fighting in Dublin, and I know what that feels like to be fighting at home, and I know what goes into that kind of training camp, and we're going to see the best yet.
And Conor is such a huge star in Dublin, in Ireland. The Irish fans really get behind their guys. And we've got Coalbin Drill as well from the recent Tough 19 show. He's making his debut. What are you expecting from him?
The thing that we always see with the guys that are coming off the show is that they take a huge step up in competition immediately, and it forces them to evolve very quickly. And then when they get that time to go away and work with their own coaches and really kind of integrate what they've learned on the show, we see amazing things out of them. They make leaps and strides in a very short period of time. So again, it's difficult to predict, but he's got to be on his game for Dublin for sure.
Other Brits on the card, we've got Phil Harris. I think he's up Neil Seery. Okay, yeah. So Irish guy up against him in Ireland. Yeah. I mean, Phil's got to win this one, really, hasn't he?
He does, and he's got the tools as well. He's got fantastic judo. But we saw how gritty Seery is against Pickett in that short notice fight that he took, and he's had the luxury of a full training camp for this one. He's felt the UFC before, so it's familiar to him. So it's not going to be a shock to the system. Plus, he's not having to travel too far, which always makes a difference. I mean, I know Phil Harris is not coming from very far, but the closer you are to home, the better it is for me, in my opinion. And I know that Phil Harris is going to be determined to win because he knows how important it is for his career. But I think it's going to be a tough fight for him against Neil Seery. He's really going to put the pressure on him.
Sort of Brad Pickett again, and if Brad gets this win over Uncle Creepy, could this put him closer towards that title contention? It's only his second fight at the flyweight.
It really does move him right up the rankings. I know that it was a fight that he wanted, and I know that part of the reason he wanted that is because he knows he can jump a few guys if he does beat Ian McCall. Whereabouts he'll fall in the rankings, I don't know, because it is such a stacked division and it moves constantly. We have so many guys in that division that could potentially be a contender that your place is never safe in the top 10. You constantly have to be winning fights. So this does for sure, move him a lot closer to a title shot, but he still might have a couple of tough fights in the way.
And co-main event, Gunnar Nelson and Zach Cummings.
Zach Cummings.
Okay,
yeah.
which was he got brought in. He was a replacement, wasn't he?
He did, yeah. We had Ryan LaFleur, and I think he was out injured. But Zach Cummings is going to be an interesting one. I've been researching this guy. Very, very tough guy. Coming down from middleweight. He's had a fight at welterweight before, and he looked good. But it's going to be interesting because he's going to have a distinct size advantage over Gunnar Nelson. And the thing I like about Gunnar is kind of like Conor McGregor. He's quite unorthodox. He's got quite a traditional karate style, so it's very difficult to predict him. But at the same time, he's fighting a guy who's considerably bigger and stronger. And even if he does get the fight to the ground, he might not have it all his way, which is what he would normally expect.